Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I bet you can hear me now. Ha! Check me out. Uh, oh man, this is what happens when you decide to do an impromptu stream by yourself. Lit Central's asking what channel is it on. It's on the NFL Network, and what he's talking about is the Senior Bowl. Now I was going to originally stay at the Senior Bowl and watch the game live, in stadium or whatever, but I just legitimately decided Thursday night I gotten a lot of stuff done. Um, got a video made, all that stuff. So I felt like I was good. I felt like I'd achieved what I wanted to achieve. And a lot of the people that I was like hanging out with down there, a lot of them took off and left, Friday. So the idea of sitting down there Friday all day with nothing to do just didn't intrigue me. And to be completely honest, wanted to see my wife and kid, right? So packed up Friday morning, came on home, and then got the idea to do this, to sit here and watch the game with y'all. For the ones who want to watch it, I don't know, be interested to see what kind of turnout we're going to have today. But what's going on, James? How y'all doing? How you doing, sir? Chris gave me a good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to you, Chris. Now, I'm going to be relying on y'all a decent amount, I guess you could say, since it's just me sitting here by myself. We got about, we got about 10 minutes or so before kickoff. Anybody y'all excited to see? Anybody y'all got questions about that was on the out there at practice? I tell you what, going down there and like expecting, or like not expecting, but wondering how like guys like Reese Rice were going to stack up, and coming away pleasantly surprised. Guys like Reese Rice and Jaden Reed were two guys that definitely impressed as far as the wide receiver group goes. Defensive tackles, Keanu Benton was a favorite of a lot of people. Willie Doc asks, any dark horses? Yeah, there definitely are. Like there's a lot of the O-line guys, like Cody Maul is a name that y'all have probably heard me talk about a handful of times, from Tuesday's live show to Friday, the video I put out yesterday. But Cody Maul could easily go in the second round, in my opinion. He showed a lot of versatility in this week down here with the with the Senior Bowl guys. Ton of versatility for him. Keon White, the defensive tackle / D end out of Georgia Tech. Super interesting. Oh, Ivan Pace Jr. Yeah, he's looked good. Like he's looked good coming downhill. Kind of a small stature guy. I think he was on the American team. Let me see if I got my handy dandy roster so I can try to figure this thing out. Let's see. I'm trying to remember what number he was. Maybe he's on the national. Let's see. Linebacker, Troy. Now, like I said, this ain't going to be a typical stream. Okay. You're going to have a lot more silence, a lot more ums as as we're just dealing with it. Could not find him. Anyway, he was definitely one of the smaller guys, but he showed a lot of versatility. Hey, appreciate that, Wound. Says, rise up. Thanks for the time you put in. Keep updates on future players. Yeah. I appreciate. I wouldn't do it if y'all weren't like interested, right? Does that make sense? Like if I'm sitting here listening to myself talk, you just see me on Twitter maybe, and that'd be about it. Let's see. But yeah, because y'all are interested and y'all support us, we keep doing it. We keep doing things like going down to the Senior Bowl, which was a lot of fun, but also, good amount of work. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Fred, I know he's out of Cincinnati. I'm just trying to find him on my roster. And having a tough time. There he is. Yeah, he's 5'10", 231, so kind of a smaller guy, but versatile guy. Oh, you like the hat? Yeah, this was last year's hat. I figured if I was going to stream the Senior Bowl, I might as well put it on. Nehemiah Shelton, he was at the Shrine Bowl, if I'm not mistaken, and I haven't looked into him, but according to Daniel Flick, that's a guy that the Falcons seem to be interested in. Which, if y'all haven't like dug into the Shrine game, y'all really should, because that's where the majority of our coaching staff was at the Shrine game. So that makes that game a lot more interesting. And Dante Stills, defensive tackle out of West Virginia, is the one who's caught my eye over there, along with A.T. Perry. A.T. Perry didn't show too well in the game itself, but I think he's a guy that, depending on his attitude and like how he took to coaching, he's a guy that the Falcons might be interested in. Let's see, Willie. No, Willie, they do a pretty good job of keeping our type away from Falcons brass, but we did see a couple Falcons scouts. Like I was sitting probably like the first day there, the Tuesday, we got over on the side of the scout side, like where we weren't really supposed to be on accident. And like there was a couple Falcon scouts over our shoulder, but didn't want to like cause no ruckus or nothing like that. So I wasn't going to go over there and talk to them. But they were taking in the practice. And then I had a brief second to talk to DJ Shockley and asked him if he had seen any of the upper brass. And he said he hadn't seen any of the upper brass, but he had seen some scouts and stuff like that. Fred, you say you get Kelsey Kramer. I don't know who Kelsey Kramer is. I'll have to check her out. Is she on Twitter? Because let's see if I can find. Like I said, it's going to be a little bit of a different stream. So y'all just sit back and relax. Kelsey. No. Nobody's really popping up. But that's okay. Maybe I don't know. Maybe find her Twitter handle or something. Because I'm always down for somebody who has more information. Let's see. Chandler Woodward says, who do you think our sleeper pick will be this year? Sleeper pick. You want to like give me a round? Like you're talking about maybe like later round kind of deal? Because I could easily see, Dante Stills, like fourth round type guy. My sleeper pick right now, I know everybody don't want to hear it when I say it, but somebody like a Kenny McIntosh or a Tajay Spears, I think could be a pick that nobody is really like thinking about or paying attention to. As much as Arthur likes to run the ball, and CP is getting older, you don't know exactly how Caleb Huntley is going to come back from his ACL injury. I could easily see him drafting another running back. Merriweather out of Iowa, he had a pretty good week. As far as the safeties went, he's a guy who I'm looking at, because here's the deal with Ryan Nielsen coming in and Jerry Gray coming in. I'm really trying to figure out like what type of safeties do we need, right? Or what type of safeties are we going to be looking for? Because, the Saints played more of like split safety coverages and a lot more like single high type deals. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do as safeties. Merriweather seems to be more of like a box safety, more to take your head off, and we kind of got that in Richie Grant and Jalen. So it's going to be interesting to see there. Appreciate that, Shane. $2. He says, hey, Mr. Clark, hope we stick with Ritter and build the defensive backs. I kind of want them to stick with Ritter in 23. I know right now they're not openly committed, which why would they be? Because if they're sitting on the board at 8 and somebody like a CJ Stroud or Will Levis is still sitting there, you could drive the price up some if you have appeared to go to all those pro days and interview those guys. If you appear to be more interested, you might be able to get a higher price for him, or, for that pick, if that's something that you want to do. But I think that sticking with Ritter, at least for 23, that's the camp I fall in. No, he hasn't done enough to warrant absolute loyalty to him. He hasn't done enough yet, but I think he could. I really do. Might be a little bit too loud. Trying to adjust some stuff here. It's always interesting coming back in town, getting my setup back up and trying to reconfigure everything. Let's see. Should be getting pretty close to kickoff. They're showing Darius Rush. He had a good, that corner out of South Carolina. He had a good week at practice. He was one of the corners that stood out. Got good size to him. I'm trying to see here. Rush. I didn't see his number. Darius Rush. Rush. Come on. Well, it's better when I can see their number. But he had, like I said, he had some good size to him. I liked what he did in practice. Let's see. Justin says, I think Ritter can be the guy, especially with our run game. Just need to build up the defense. I think that's how a lot of people feel. But like I said, man, them last 4 games, he didn't show he got better each week, but it's not like he came in and blew doors off. So the question is, was that because he didn't have Kyle Pitts? He only had Drake London? You know what I'm saying? Didn't have much else past that. There's a lot of circumstances that can be looked at to why, they didn't ask him to do a ton, that kind of stuff. So, like I said, just next year will be interesting. Let's see. I definitely just do not see him. Anyway. Let's see. Chandler says we should get a solid wide receiver 2 for Ritter this year and see what he can do with Pitts also. I agree there. That was one of the positions that I was watching quite a bit when I was down there was, guys like Jaden Reed, guys like Hutchinson. I think it's Isaiah Hutchinson out of Iowa State. And then there was Rashee Rice. Those are a couple guys that I really could see fitting a good wide receiver 2 role. Who would I take? Let's see. Fred Butt says, who would you take with the 8th overall pick? Right now, before the combine, after the draft and or after the Senior Bowl and all that jazz, I would take somebody like a Breece Hall or not Breece Hall, Brian Breesy, or a Miles Murphy, defensive lineman, or I would take a Christian Gonzalez or Joey Porter. That's where I'm kind of leaning right now. All that subject to change. Willie Doc says, did you eat some Reese's while you were there? I did not, Willie. I do appreciate the $2. I did not, as I am attempting to not be such a large fella in 2023. I tried to stay away from the Reese's. Justin says, which corner do you like the most at 8? It's really a toss-up between Christian Gonzalez and Joey Porter. Those are the two that have my eye. I would be okay either way with either one of those two. Maybe a slight edge to Gonzalez, but it's minuscule at this point. I would take either one of those. Shane says, the cap we have should be able to build a team around Ritter. I hope we don't blow it all on Lamar Jackson. I've been saying it, and I'm going to continue saying it. I don't think Lamar Jackson makes it out of Baltimore, like at all. There's already rumors swirling around that they're going to tag him, and it's not going to be exclusive. So that makes it much harder for him to leave. I think at least this year he goes the franchise tag route with a new OC, and then maybe they, maybe they can come to an agreement there. Willie says, strong fortitude, my brother, being around all that candy. No, see, that's another reason. Like, you ain't around all of it until you get up in the press box. Like, just walking around the stands, if I wanted a Reese's, I'd have had to buy it. So, easy there, just don't buy it, right? But had I stayed today and made it up into the press box, that would have been a lot tougher because then there's just Reese's everywhere. At least that's the way it was last year. Yeah, Chris says there's no wrong choice between Gonzalez and Porter. I don't think so. I really don't. And there's people out there that debate all the time, oh, why do you want to take another quarter when you already got A.J. Terrell? Because, like, why would you not want a fully, like, ridiculously elite unit? I know there's, like, numbers that say, you only need one guy to lock down their elite guy. But if we're talking about a 4-year, 5-year rookie deal, I'll take it. I'll take it for that price. Willie says, as of today, would you want anybody or would you want to trade up for the 8 spot and why? If I traded up, it would be for Jalen Carter, and that's it. All right, we have kicked off. The National League or national team is going to get the ball first. But, yeah, Jalen Carter is the only one I'm trading up for. And I'm not, Tyson Badgett, no. We just kicked the game off, and it looks like Jake Herner is going to be your starting quarterback out of Fresno State. Now, National League, number 70, Cody Mall, that's the one you want to keep your eye on as far as the offensive line. Like, he has been fun to watch all week. His versatility, I'm going to see. Well, I wonder where they're going to line him up to begin with. I want to say it's probably going to be left guard. Yeah, they're lining him up at left guard. Looks like, who's that, Will McDonald? Oh, hey, a Nebraska running back, Hull. He was the fastest running back there. So, yeah, he's showing that speed early. And there's 45 on the American team. Who was that? Aubrey Miller Jr. out of Jackson State with the tackle. Let's see. Boom. Yeah, a kid out of Jackson State. Oh, who behind us, Willie, would want to trade up? I don't know. It's like, I think it depends on if there's a quarterback sitting there. Oh, that's Wilson out of Stanford with the catch, the first catch of the game. He was out. He was the first one out every practice. Yeah, he's one of those Michael Wilson. He's one of those guys that I think is going to be better in the pros than he was in college. So, that's my opinion there. Yeah, Willie, if anybody comes up, it's got to be, I would imagine it's for a quarterback or maybe an O-lineman if there's a run early. Going back to Hull. There you go, getting some good. I really feel like this year's offensive linemen were way better. Yeah, see, they're already highlighting Cody Mall. Like, he did a lot for his stock. And I think Michael Wilson did as well. I didn't know Wilson's name until we got down here. And he really kind of put it out there. Darius Rush had a good, like I said, he had a real good week. And then Zach Pickens had a good week as well. There weren't too many people that had a bad week. Let's see, number 6. That's Bryant Young. Auburn and that Jackson State. Would I trade up for Carter? I don't know, man. I would love to have Carter. I'm just not a huge fan of giving up capital for anything that isn't a franchise QB. So I would have to say no. Yeah. There have been a few where he's gone first. I have one where he was there at 8, but that's very unrealistic at this point. I need Chris Smith to bounce back, the safety out of Georgia. He had a rough third day. I need him to bounce back in this game. Ooh, he almost had a pick there. I tell you this, because this offensive line is better, you're going to see a lot better like scoring and quarterback play this year than you did last year. Oh, that's Payne. Payne Durham was solid, like an absolute, like solid, tough tight end. If you're wanting a dirty tight end, Payne Durham. I mean, his name's Payne, for God's sakes. Payne Durham was he was a lot of fun to watch this weekend or this week. Okay. The difference, Willie asked a really good question here. The difference between the Shrine game and the Senior Bowl or the East-West Shrine game is really the caliber of talent. I'm not even going to lie. The Senior Bowl is only seniors, so you do have some juniors out there in the Shrine game, but this one is the premier college all-star game. So now the Shrine game is trying to do its best job to match this one. So, and I think it will in a few years now that the NFL is heavily involved. There you go, Land. Isaiah Land out of FMU, smaller linebacker, like edge rusher linebacker, come in with a stop there. But the Shrine game itself, the NFL is trying to pump it up, which is why you had like full coaching staffs down there. They used to do that here at the Senior Bowl. So, but Jim Nagy and the NFL has kind of bumped heads a little bit. So, see if they can punch it in here. 3rd and goal. We'll see one of these receivers make a play. Yeah, KJ Henry is playing today. If that's the defensive end you're talking about, Fred, KJ Henry. Now, the other one, Miles Murphy, he wasn't here. He's a first-round talent. I think he's a junior. Either way, he wasn't here. So, Tony says a lot of people are getting on my case about wanting the Falcons to trade down in the first round. But here's why. So the only problem I have there, Tony, with you talking like always getting at the trade down, that's just so hard to predict. It's just so hard to even guess at who would be willing to trade. Who you can like get. Those seem to be more like pie in the sky type scenarios. Like if you can, sure. Like why not, right? But that's just hard to predict. It generally doesn't work out the way we think it should. All right, come on. Let's blow somebody off the ball here. Get Cody pulling. No, not pulling that time. There you go. Who is that, Reed? Oh, there's a flag. He's another kid that could be a wide receiver too. It's Jaden Reed. What was the flag for? Yeah, I figured you were talking about Miles. No, he wasn't down there. A lot of those like high first round pick guys aren't going to be there. They don't benefit from it. Oh, offensive pass interference. Replay third down. Who did it? Yeah, you got to sell that a little better, guy. Got to sell that one a little better. I do hope we re-sign Oliver. I like Oliver, and I like him playing closer to the line of scrimmage. I don't know how he's going to look in a different, but if he's going to be a big nickel, I'd take that all day long. That was Du Bois with that pass interference. Oh, too high. They were having a tough time connecting with those passes, those little deep corner passes. All the quarterbacks were having a tough time with that one. He got a good jump on it. A better thrown ball there might have had it. Might have had it. So, probably going to go for a field goal here. National League looking to be the first ones on the board. And with an extra third round pick, we could draft our starting left guard with the first one, and running back. Yeah, those are great scenarios. But you got to have somebody wanting to come up for it. That's the big thing. You got to have somebody wanting to come up for it. Oh yeah, D. Alford. That should be fun. I'm excited to see what this new defensive staff's going to put together. Nothing against Pease. Pease has forgotten more about defense than I'll ever know. But part of me wonders if he was just here for Arthur Smith to really get his feet under him kind of deal. That's just me guessing. I don't know. I've seen people wanting Atlanta to sign Jalen Ramsey. I like Jalen Ramsey, but I wonder if he's kind of gotten to the point where his name is bigger than his play. I know he got burnt quite a bit this year. So but that happens with corners, especially ones who take the league by storm. They kind of fizzle out towards not the end of their career, but the latter half. And I guess it just all depends on what kind of money they make or what kind of money he wants. If he still wants shut down, you ain't going to throw at me corner money, I don't know, man. Be tough. Especially if you're wanting to keep A.J. Terrell. Because I think right now I'd rather just keep A.J. Terrell and see if we can get somebody like a Bradbury or a Jamal Dean out of Tampa Bay. But I like Ramsey as a player. Now that's an interesting one. Patrick Peterson did have a solid year. If we could get him for a year or two, that'd be kind of nice. Might be a different, better version of a Casey Hayward kind of thing. Chris, are you talking about Ramsey's contract? Is that much for the next 3 years? If that's the case, I'm good. Oh, Tony, what you got? It says in free agency, go after a top DT, re-sign Oliver, Alford, Hayward. It's interesting that you want to re-sign Rashad Evans and Lorenzo Carter because in the scheme for Nielsen, if we're running more of a New Orleans scheme, you might actually want Walker over Rashid. Here we go. Cameron Latu. That's another real good tight end. There was a solid tight end group. But back to your statement. Rashid, his knock is coverage. And, we might be going back to that 4-3 under sideline to sideline coverage guys, not necessarily as much downhill linebackers. So it's going to be interesting to see what they look for and what they go for. Quarterback out of Houston in for the American team. The American team was by far and away a better stacked team. So it's going to be interesting to see if that bears out. There's my guy right there, Tajay Sharp, boy. He was electric every time he touched the ball. Let's see. It says some of these free agents going to cost more than the draft picks. Guys like Carter and Evans would rather draft a younger guy to fill their spot. That's the part of it, you know. It's like what is this new staff going to be looking for? Things like that. We got about a little over a month to figure that out. Here you go. Number 18 on the American team. He was having a good week of practice. Jonathan Mingo out of Mississippi. He's 6'1", 226, good size wide receiver. Made himself like available to the quarterback quite often. I liked Mingo quite a bit. Let's see. All right, Carter. Carter was a guy, Andre Carter, did not have a great week of practice. I think he's very much still trying to figure it out. Kenny McIntosh. That's another guy I'd like. Man, you give me Kenny McIntosh or Tajay Sharp, be good to go. Ineligible receiver downfield. Back it up. Now, this is the center everybody's going to want. John Michael Schmitz or something like that, the center out of Minnesota. He's about really the best center in the draft. Kenny is a beast, Justin. I agree. Come on. There you go. Oh, I say that. Then he drops the ball. You got to catch that, Kenny. I'm going to sit here and hype you up. Tony says Jalen is overhyped and overrated. We do not need a self-promoting, always want to be corner. Plus, he's a cancer, disrespects his teammates. Yeah, he's got that diva type attitude, which is a great and or bad thing, you know. 88. That's Musgrave. Musgrave was the fastest tight end. He was even actually clocked faster than any tight end in the league this year. Boba Fett, is it just me feeling some kind of way about pulling too many Saints pieces to fix our team? Look, man, this league is about connections. And when your GM spent that many years in the Saints organization, it's not surprising. Nielsen was also highly rated, so I'm not too mad about it. Now, if we become the, Chicago Saints Titans, that'll be kind of interesting. Or not interesting, but typical, I guess you could say. Josh says all these UGA players should be fresh entering the league. They don't run their players in the ground. No, they don't. Especially not their running backs. They got a deep stable of running backs. I'm actually surprised James Cook didn't get more run in Buffalo than he did. I was kind of shocked by that. Oh, Gray. That's a big hole. See, that's the kind of pass you want in Sharp or McIntosh. Gray was a great back, probably the best overall back out there. But he just doesn't have the same speed that McIntosh and Spears have. Now, you're right, Chris. There could be up to 5. I don't think we're going to land that many. I'm pretty sure we're going to land a 1 or 2. DeJuan Jones would be real nice. Like if we decide not to bring back McGarry, somebody like Jones or even Darnell Wright, who's in this game. Yeah, Dion fits our new DC style. We should have kept him. Dean didn't know what he was doing. I disagree with the last part. Dean knows what he was doing. But yeah, Dion's play had fallen off even in the other scheme. So I get it. Plus, you're trying to move off that money. That was a good punt. I didn't look to see who the punter was. Skirt. Very good. Very good. Bam. National League picks up the ball at the 1. Whew, that's going to be tough. Let's see anything popping off on the Twitterverse. Yeah, Foyer was missed. Like he was doing good down in Jacksonville. No, nothing popping off on Twitter yet. All right. Bam. All right. Who do y'all want in the first round? Who you got your eye on? Oh. Hard to talk about like things when we get into a commercial break. Ooh. Let's see. Justin says not Anthony Richardson. Yeah, he's like, man, he's interesting because he'll make some wow plays and then he'll just miss some wide open stuff. Like he's a project for sure. And if we're going, project wise, then I'll just stick with the project that we got. Justin says probably the best corner. Like right now, depending on what we do in free agency, corner or O lineman has, my vote really. Because outside of like Jalen Carter, to me, there really isn't like a head and shoulders blow you away type defensive player, like edge rusher, defensive lineman guy. Like Miles Murphy's nice, Tyree Wilson, you're betting on traits. So, but to me, they're just not head and shoulders above everything else. It's not like what you've had in the past. There's no clear, Myles Garrett or Bosa brothers or whatever. Durham showing you some fullback, up back ability there. Lined up at the fullback and got him some yards. Oh, Justin wants to stir the pot. Bijan. Bijan is a target if we trade back, in my opinion. If we trade back, I'd take Bijan. And do not for 1 minute think this front office staff won't take Bijan today. If he's their highest grade rookie, they surely will. I mean, they took Kyle Pitts at 4. So yeah, we all are joking about it and stirring the pot, but it very easily could be Bijan at 8 if the pass rushers are gone, or if there's no O lineman that they feel super good about, or if both corners are gone. Like straight up and down, BPA. That's something I definitely want y'all to like prepare your mind for. Somebody said no pass catchers. I don't think there's a Jamar Chase worthy pass catcher in this draft, or at least not in the first round. There's a lot of like day 2 guys. Ooh, that was a good one. Who was that? Yes, my dude. Reed, I think. That's who that was, wasn't it? We're on the National League team. No. That was the Washington State kid. No, that's Jaden Reed. That's what I thought. Yeah. Sorry. Trying to keep all this stuff going right. Yeah, Chris says, if we hit free agency, then bring on Bijan. That's it. That's the thing. Like, what y'all can't do is get locked into just this as the draft and just the, like the draft and free agency that's how you build the team. So, one isn't more superior than the other. The Reese Falcon, wide receiver too. And here's the thing about Bijan. This is no crap now. He could also be wide receiver too, in a sense. Like he could be that slot guy as well. Like there's a lot you can do with Bijan. Chase Brown. Yeah, you just got to keep your feet, brother. JR, what I didn't like about Pease is he didn't care about giving up yards. That's just his style. It was bend, don't break. A lot of people are bend, don't break. They try to make a, offense earn every yard of it, so to speak. So, yeah, I agree. I mean, it's just a different style. And also what he was working with wasn't the greatest talent in the world either. Do you think we will improve this year? I do. I don't know by how much yet. But this is the first year where they're going to really have a good chance to improve. Like, we went 7-10 this year with worse talent. So, and we even got an easier schedule next year on paper. So, yes, I do think we'll improve, especially with Tampa Bay probably like taking a major step backwards. Like Frank Reich is probably going to need a year to really get going. Like there's like the Saints are going to lose a lot more pieces because of their cap situation. So yeah, dude, I think we have a real good chance to step up and take a step forward. Jay, you're not wrong. The draft doesn't start until free agency is over. Exactly. And with this staff, these past 2 years, they have shown you they are BPA, straight up and down. You're going to hear me say that a ton. Willie, wait, JR, if we did trade back for Bijan, where do you think Bijan would go? 10 to 20? I would say I don't think Bijan falls out of like the top half. So if we trade back, it'd only be a few spots if you're like aiming for Bijan. Because I think past like 16, I don't think he makes it to 20 myself. Exactly. I agree, Nick. He said no such thing as easy or hard schedule. That's why I said on paper. Because you never know what a team is going to look like once we really get going. So let's see. Yep. Nope. Jaden Reed right now is my guy. That would be my range, I would think. Like if a QB falls and somebody wants to come up, then that's where I'd want to. I wouldn't go much further back than that. I'm assuming you're talking about Ritter. I want to see Ritter for a year. I'm not even gonna lie. I want to see Ritter for a year. Way too soon to draft a running back. The last piece because short shelf life. I agree with the short shelf life. I'm not saying I want to go after Bijan. I'm just saying do not be surprised if they view him as the best player on the board. And if they view him as the best player on the board, then look at it like this. You got him a cheap 5 years. And, you can re-sign him or not after that. All right, let's see what we got here. Who was that? Oh, Brian Young out of Tennessee. I think that's right. Yeah, Brian Young out of Tennessee. He had a pretty good week. 6'2", 248. I think that could easily improve both of their shelf life. I mean, look at the way we've been running Tyler. Like, he's not going to have a long shelf life like that. Who they hired? Did they officially hire somebody as their OC? Did I miss that? The Cowboys? I hadn't seen nothing yet. Sorry, I'm also checking Twitter. Let's see. Oh, yep. Oh, good. Brian Schottenheimer. Sorry. I chuckle anytime I see Schottenheimer. They haven't had much success, but that doesn't surprise me with McCarthy. Doesn't surprise me one bit. Yeah, I agree. That is as mad as it gets. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, dude. But I think McCarthy was wanting to be more in charge. Jamal Adams, he's up there with Seattle, right? I didn't think he was a free agent. I don't know. Again, it'd be up to like how does like the safety play? In this scheme, which is something that I'm going to start digging into. Like, what kind of coverages did Green Bay play? What kind of coverages did the Saints play? Because that's going to really determine what we do. 7 says you run a run back until he's a free agent, and then you wish him the best and draft another one and continue the cycle. That's why, like, a lot of times you're going to hear me and see me draft in mock drafts a running back almost every year because of that exact point. And even if they were to take Bijan in the first round, I'm just using him as an extreme example. You get 5 real good years out of Bijan Robinson and maybe tag him for a 6th. That's a successful pick, in my opinion. Who's on that tackle? There's Merriweather. There you go. Dude, I don't even know. Made him sit. Yeah, I don't know. I just know the Schottenheimers never have impressed me. Ooh, that was almost a safety. Who was in on that? Oh, that was the Kansas State guy. He's a speed rusher, man. He was hard to block all week. Just a small, speedy edge rusher. Oh, man, and it was against my boy Darnell. Oh, you got to show better than that, Darnell. I done talked you up. All right, Carter. Oh. Henry's not slowing down. No, I mean, like, you have generational guys like Henry and, Saquon, Adrian Peterson, those guys, but they just don't come around nearly often enough to justify. And that's why I get why people, because for every Henry, you have 5 Fournettes. So, yeah, you got to I'm with you, Chris. You got to get that pick. Got to get that pick. Oh, this Rutgers guy, he was booming it. Let's see, 94. Yeah. Adam Korosak, he was booming about 50, 60 yards in practice. So we'll see. 7 says Falcons need a cornerback, QB, and others before they can even think about a running back. Well, I'm just saying, with the way that this coaching staff ran the ball last year, I know. I'm just needling you right now. Don't think that I'm not pounding the table for Bijan. I'd take an offensive lineman or a corner. But I'm just saying, don't put it out of the realm of possibility if they feel like he's the best player. Because that's all it's going to take for Fondo. If Fondo thinks it's his best player on the board, that's who he's going after. Boom. I'm talking about booming it, and he gives me a short one. I agree. If there's Jesse Bates or Von Bell are two safeties that I'd be going after. And I'd also re-sign Pinion. No, man, Dimitrov, you can't say that because you knew what Dimitrov was going to draft months before the draft. So at least with Fontenot, there's been options there. Like you don't know exactly. I went into every draft with Dimitrov pretty much nailing what position we were going to pick, if not who we were going to pick. There you go. Oh, screen. Oh, man. You got to catch that, dude. That's the kid out of Cameron Peoples out of App State. You got to catch that. That was beautifully set up. You have blockers out in front of you and everything. Man, you had Cody on the move. Yeah, Peoples, you should be upset. We got here a little bit of 2x2 action. 3x2. Oh, come on. Peoples. 2 drops in a row. That's no good. It was tipped, but that was right into your chest. Got to get that. We do need some stickum. Need to change that man's gloves out. Any of y'all watch that video I put out yesterday? Y'all like that? Just trying something different. Come on, screen pass. There we go. Finally got one to connect. I don't know why the coach is like, whoever the OC of the national team. I don't think that's Charles London. I think he was the OC of the American team. But, yeah, he's definitely the OC of the American team. That OC must have been like, we're going to get this screen pass to work. Dude. So he says, love that video. As one of the many commenters said, it was like a documentary. Okay. Yeah, okay. Chandler said loved it too. Good. Good. Like I said, just trying something different. Like I may do more like that when I go to training camp and, practices down to the stadium and all that stuff. So, okay. All right. Interesting. Chris, you say you think I needed more time-lapse footage? Okay. I thought maybe I'd use too much time-lapse footage. All right. Just keep working on it. Taking this off season to just try some different things to see what y'all like and what y'all don't like. And now Tuesday, y'all going to want to be there because I think we're going to do our first community mock draft. I know we did some last year, but I think we're going to take a little bit more time with it. Give y'all more time to discuss it in chat. So that's going to be the plan for Tuesday. So if y'all want to be involved in that, make sure you're in chat. Who y'all got in the Super Bowl? You think Mahomes can overcome the Eagles? Or, it's like the battle of the two hurt QBs. Jalen dealing with a shoulder injury and Mahomes dealing with a ankle injury. Me personally, I don't know, man. It's tough. I got a feeling that, I think Philly's going to take it myself because I just don't know if KC's going to be able to stop the run. But if they can stop the run, they got a good chance. Let's see. Willie says, just as long as it wasn't Shanahan or Brady, I'm good with either one. Yeah, I agree there. I don't know. I kind of agree, Chris. Like, that D-line of Philly, boy. Fred likes KC. I'm just having a tough time, really locking in who I think it's going to be. Josh says Eagles got the best team, but Chiefs got the best player on the field. That's the thing. If you stack it up, the Eagles wide receiving core is much better. But, the Chiefs were able to not shut down, but keep in check Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. So, I don't know, man. It's just it's gonna be a fun game, I think. Because I think the Chiefs blow the Eagles out if Mahomes gets healthy. I think that's the thing, man. If he's not hobbled, or if he's less hobbled than he was against the Bengals. See, to me, the Bengals shot themselves in the foot with the whole Burrowhead thing. They just got a little too cocky on that one. Oh, Chris Rodriguez, good to see him playing. He didn't practice much yesterday, and I was wondering if he was hurt. So it was good to see him out there. I'm telling you, man, this O-line for this Senior Bowl is way better than last year's O-line. These quarterbacks actually have time to think. You don't have a Boy Mafe or a D'Angelo Malone or an Ebiketie. Oh, let's see. Yeah, they're talking about Rodriguez's mom passing away. It was really cool that LSU sent him a purple face mask to wear because that was like the color of awareness and her favorite color. And then their equipment gave him a purple face mask to wear today, and I thought that was really cool. Let's see here. Boy, some dog is going off the deep end outside. I know y'all can't hear it, but so now my dog's going to start going crazy. Y'all have to forgive me if my dog goes nuts. There you go. Gray ran good. Like I said, overall, I think he was the overall best back. Not the fastest, not the most electric, but I think he was the most complete back. Yeah, good contact balance, ran hard. I really liked Gray. Oh, is that okay? Is that the cornerback that's climbing the ranks right now? I haven't had a chance to watch him, but I've heard a lot of really good things about him. He's one of those guys I'm gonna dig into soon. I keep wanting Andre Carter to make a play. He just ain't doing it. Yeah, he just ain't doing it. Josh seems to think Witherspoon is sticky and number one quarterback in his opinion. It also seems like 7 agrees with you. So, yeah, Like I said, it just depends on what we're going to run. If it's more zone or if it's more man, what's it going to be as into what we need. Let's see. That dude, man, that kid from Kansas State, number 9. Let's see. Get his name for you. Lonnie Phelps. He has been a menace. There you go, McIntosh. There's some moves. Oh yeah, that'd be a huge boon for the secondary, in my opinion. There, McIntosh or Bates and Patrick Peterson. That'd be nice. Okay, a lot of folks from Mobile in this game, or the Mobile area. Come on, Mac. Here you go. That was a nice little run, showing you can run in between the tackles there. What's going on, King? Glad you decided to drop by, brother. We just sitting here checking out the Senior Bowl. Figured I didn't stay for it to be live, so I figured I'd go live. Either way, I was going to watch it, so might as well. All right, here's Mr. Electric, Tajay Spears. He was 2 tons of fun. Okay. Not a bad little play. Oh, no. Okay, good. Ooh. Yeah, you're going to see some of that practice film, boy. He was truly electric. You let Spears get out into the open field, done. That's like, I want him on the Falcons. That's just a guilty pleasure for me right there. Like, I think that he could provide that home run threat no matter where he's at on the field. Oh, come on, Princeton. He's the guy who kind of disappointed, that kid from Princeton. All right. Willie says, did any of our Falcon coaches do anything for this game, or was it just a shrine game? Our Charles London, the QB coach, is the American side OC. So he got an up close look at McIntosh and Spears and, Latu and all those guys. So I was really happy about that. I don't know if I like this call, but what round? Starting in the fourth round, maybe third at the highest. Like, I really like Spears, but I don't think much higher than the third, because he is like a change of pace, third down back kind of deal. Not really going to run in between the tackles. Not really going to give you much on pass protection. So he is like a little spark plug. So yes, Lonnie Phelps is. That's the kid out of Kansas. Keep your eye on him for sure. He's been fun so far. Let's see. Ooh. Who was that? They'll throw some hospital balls, boy. That was a kid out of South Alabama, number 8. Number 8. Yeah, that's Jalen Wayne. He had good practice. All right, Hot Pod. Jake Palencia, the Georgia kicker. All right, the American team is on the board. Riveting game. I'm actually surprised we haven't had any more touchdowns. They get down to the end zone, but they ain't able to punch it in. Let's see. Oh, Henley. Is that the Chris? Is that the linebacker? Henley? Is that who that was? Because if that is, then he was showing well. He played good in practice. Yeah, I see what I thought. Yeah, he played well. I'm trying to figure out what Henley on my roster here. Trying to pull up his size and stuff, but I don't seem to see his name. Oh. Yeah, one of the guys who is there who writes for the for Philly says wherever the ball is, Henley is not too far behind. He was very, very active. Let's see. Hayes, Henley, come on. Hickman. Oh well. There he is. Number one. Right about 6'2", 230 pounds. A lot of small linebackers. A lot of smaller. Charles says, if we're to bring in a wide receiver in free agency, who would you sign? Myers, Juju, or Mecole? I think for this offense, it would have to be either Myers or Juju. Like Mecole is good, like real good, and like taking the top off, speed guy. But I'm not really 100% sure that that's something that this offense like is a linchpin. Like you can find speedy guys. I mean, they had one with Bird and Zacchaeus. So I would take either Juju or Myers. Do you think Stetson hurt himself in the rankings with the recent arrest? Yes, he did. It was already going to be tough for him to get drafted, in my opinion. That definitely didn't help anything. There's Cunningham. Probably the best passer, like as far as velocity and zip. Uh, Accuracy, maybe not so much, at least what we saw of him, but Cunningham was probably the best quarterback out there. Now that is an interesting one. If they move off of Mims, that's a guy to snatch up in a heartbeat. I completely agree, Tony. Completely agree. 3-by-1 set. All right. All right, Cunningham. We know you can run, bro. We know you got them legs. Show me what you got in your arm. I do kind of hope we bring back OZ, and it wouldn't surprise me. This team likes OZ. He does a lot of things that they like. He does things well. And I think the last game or two, he was starting to get a rapport with Ritter. So I wouldn't be surprised. This is a Roshan Johnson replacement. He's out of Texas Tech. Yeah. The national. Yeah, they don't have his name on the roster because he took over for Roshan Johnson. But yeah, he did good. Roshan broke his hand. And he was looking real good until he broke his hand. But yeah, he broke his hand. But Cunningham is fun. If you like Anthony Richardson, then you should also, very much like Cunningham. And I think Cunningham has more on tape than Richardson, in my opinion. I just think everybody thinks Richardson has a higher upside. Let's see. Oh, stay tuned. I'm also going to try to do more stuff like this, I think, like with the games, especially when preseason rolls around. It's hard for me to do it on Sundays because I just got so much going on. But maybe this year, if we have like on a Thursday night or Monday night game, maybe do the first half or something. Chris says, I like them both playing for another team. Let's see. Tony says, because the Jets have Corey Davis and Garrett Wilson as a top receiver with Elijah Moore as their number 3, Denzel Mims is called up in the numbers game in New York. Yeah, like I said, he could be a guy that gets cut. Be nice. That's going to happen. Those are the things that you can't predict. Those are the things that you cannot predict. Well, I forgot Braxton Berrios is still in the league. Oh, man. Forgot about that. Oh, dude, for a 4-man front, that would be awesome. Deron Payne, Grady Wilson, and Murphy. I mean, you ain't going to get Wilson and Murphy. But I'm assuming you're talking about Tyree Wilson and Miles Murphy. But, yeah, that'd be a nasty 4-man front, which is, like, by all indications, what they're going to attempt to run with. All right, I'm going to mute myself. I'll be right back. I'm going to step to the little boys' room. I'll be right back. And I'm back. All I missed was Jim Nagy talking. That's all right. Yeah, Wilson, man, he is so interesting because, like, he is raw. And you're definitely betting on traits there. Like, he's strong. But that's an interesting. You're betting on traits, that's for sure. You are betting on traits. Yeah, he seems like that seems to be kind of like that mold that they fit in, that bigger edge guy. So another guy that I'm interested in, and we may see him out here, is Keon White, number 6. He's on the national team. So, like, he's a guy I'm really interested in out of Georgia Tech. He seems to fit that bill. Number 55. You ain't wrong there. That'd be a real nice receiving core. That would be a super nice receiving core. I'd take that all day. If I'm sitting back like this, can y'all still hear me pretty good? Let's see. One thing, King says, one thing I'd like to see happen is Grady take over and get a sophomore and freshman together in an off season and get them working out just with him taking over the young guy. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that would be, and that may be something they do. We just don't really hear about. But I agree. They need to get Grady some help. Mr. CDX, what's up, P? Checking in from travel rest in South Carolina. Okay, man. Glad you're here. Glad you're checking in with us. We're just chilling, watching the Senior Bowl, seeing who's going to stand out from this week of practice. Got the Alabama guys. Come on. 55. Flag. Is that on Chris? They're indicating that it's that way. I wonder if Chris Smith got caught holding. If it was on Ronnie Bell, I'm going to laugh. No, and we were joking in practice. Ronnie Bell kept drawing every flag possible. Like, we just kept calling him Ronnie Flag Bell. Like, you need it deep? Oh, it's offsetting penalties. Okay. I'm having to, listen to or watch this on mute. Yeah, I know, right? Rich get richer on that aspect. With Philly having a top 10 pick and going to the Super Bowl. That's just mean, man. All right, what we got here? None of my hedge guys. There you go. There it is. Come on. Give it to him. Give it to him. Oh, he's probably my favorite tight end of this whole group is Durham Payne. Or Payne Durham, excuse me. He's just a physical tight end, and I love it. 1, 2. Oh, he's out of bounds. He's out of bounds. Says, anyone hear about how huge the guy from Ohio been hearing buzz because of his size? Are you talking about DeJuan Jones? Like, he was there the first day of practice. He got nicked up or whatever, but yeah, he was dominant. Like, absolutely dominant. Like, to a point where I think his nicked up was because, he's like, yeah, I don't need to practice anymore here. But that was yeah, he was definitely head and shoulders above everybody else. Let's see. Willie says, do you have to get invited to the Senior Bowl, i.e., other than legal trouble, why wasn't Stetson there? Okay, here's the deal with Stetson. He got invited because Max Duggan's there too. So Stetson got invited and then declined it, which had a lot of people questioning, like, why are you declining it? You have all these questions about you. Here's a way to, answer those. Like, Hendon Hooker was at the Senior Bowl. Couldn't practice, obviously, because of his leg, but he was there talking to people. And Stetson decided to be in Texas instead. So some people were saying, maybe had he taken his invite to the Senior Bowl, maybe he wouldn't have gotten in the trouble that he did. So, yeah, Stetson's got I think I heard more than one people say, Johnny Manziel vibes without the Johnny Manziel talent. So take that for what's. I heard that more than once from people down there in Mobile. So just take that for what you will. Yeah, DeJuan Jones, the first day he was there and practiced, easily the best offensive lineman out there. Easily. Let's see. Let's see. What'd you say there? It's a Stetson, I hate to say, it probably goes undrafted after his Texas incident and talk about him not getting along with Monken. Yeah, it seems like that last year his head got a little big. Stetson has a Stetson and a short and a XFL career coming up. Yeah, I think like a XFL, CFL. Like if he's serious about it, that's what I would do. Go to the CFL. Yeah, he's been playing good. He's been playing real good. Payne's in the backfield again. I like that kid. All right, well, that's good. That's a good way to make something out of nothing. Touchdown, Malik Cunningham. National League extends their lead on a botch snap turn touchdown. Good heads up play by Malik Cunningham on that one. Yeah, he may not be used to being under center like that. Are we going for two? Is that what we're doing here? They may have to go for two. I'm not sure. Some of these college all-star games, like I know the Shrine Bowl, you have to go for two. Now, question is, y'all want to come back after halftime and keep going? Y'all enjoying this? Come on, there he is. Come on, there you go, Payne. Yeah, you can bring me Payne if you wanted to, Atlanta. I would not be upset with that at all. He has been a fun tight end. Caleb in the passing game has been problematic, but in his run game, man, he has stepped up huge. So you're talking about getting the offensive tackle out of Northwestern. A lot of folks have him going mock to us at 8. So, if that's your plan, he might not be there. You might be able to get DeJuan Jones or maybe even Darnell Wright. It'd be interesting. Now, yeah, like a graduate assistant coach, I think that's the path for him, for Stetson, in my opinion. Whose run game you talking about, King? Oh, yeah, you're talking about McGarry. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with McGarry. Do they bring him back? Do they tag him? Like, I think PFF says his value is like $13 million a year, which I'd be willing to do that. If you think he's going to continue to improve under, Dwayne Ledford's tutelage, like offensive linemen take a little while to really get going. So, yeah, they may not be ready to cut bait on him. May not be ready to. Well, there's a good chance you're going to miss out on Anderson. Murphy or Wilson might be there. Well, I mean, that's like, to me, if that's what you think, like, if you're the GM and you're like, oh, did he only play well because of it being a contract year? Then like tag him. Like this is a year to tag somebody. So if you think that he only did it 1 year, then tag him and see if he can do it again. That'd be my thought anyway. Ooh, screen. All right, come on, McIntosh. Close. It was a nice little run, though. Now, you talk about the quarterback that had, like, the roughest time. Max Duggan did not look good. He did not look good. Okay. See if he can improve here and show something. He almost seemed like he was too scared to push it downfield, like he didn't want to make a mistake or something. A lot of the quarterbacks looked better on day 3, but I think because they finally settled in some to start pushing it downfield. Getting a long look at Andre Carter. Off target there for Latu. How much money would I spend in free agency? I don't know. Like, I'd have a couple of guys that I'd be willing to go after, and then past that, like, I wouldn't necessarily be heading out like, all right, we got all this money, might as well spend it. I mean, even Fontenot said, yeah, we got the money. You just got to be smart about it. And I think he's right. You got to be smart about it. You can't just be handing out major contracts just because you can. Come on, Benton. 13 with a sack. First sack of the game. That's the Brooks out of Bowling Green. There were times that he was, not unblockable, but he had good snaps and good reps. But yeah, that's just a coverage sack there, really. Duggan couldn't make a decision. Third and 22. Let's see. Nick says stay at 8 or trade. I'm in favor of staying. You can get a really good player at 8. Alexa, stop. Somebody ask you. I'm hearing that the 49ers are interested in Caleb McGarry because they're about to lose their starting right tackle free agency. I also hear the Raiders are interested. I heard the other way around. I heard not about Caleb McGarry, but I heard that they were looking to try to extend McClinchy. So we're in that smoke season right now. There's no telling who's – I mean, if McGarry prices himself out of Atlanta, I would imagine they're going to draft a right tackle. He was at the not at the Shrine Bowl. He was at the Senior Bowl, and he had some rough go of it. He's a huge dude, though, super tall. Okay, yeah. Will Andre Carter be that player that everyone expects in the top 5 and falls? He ain't top 5 for me. He ain't even first round for me. Like, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Like, there wasn't nothing I saw at the Senior Bowl on tape, nothing that makes me think, like, if you're drafting him, you are drafting a projection. You're drafting that I can put him in an NFL weight room and make something out of him. Because he's got skinny legs, he is skinny overall, and he just didn't win at enough reps to me. You sent me a tweet. I don't see anything, Fred. I don't know. You have to try again or something. Let's see. Okay. Maybe you're talking to somebody else. Yeah. Okay, Ronnie Bell. I just looked up to see that highlight. Good job there, bud. Yeah. Like 4th, 5th round, 3rd at the absolute earliest. We had a big discussion one night at the bar about him. Oh, it'll take that. Especially if they exclusive franchise tag. That means Lamar ain't got no say in it whatsoever as far as, like, price-wise. Yeah, it's going to take a lot. You don't just give up a franchise quarterback. That's what I keep trying to tell y'all. And they're like, oh, well, why haven't they signed him? Because they ain't trying to pay him no more than they got to. They did the same thing with Flacco. So I just don't see Lamar getting out of Baltimore. Not without a king's ransom. Not without a king's ransom. The Raiders hire Scott Turner as passing game coordinator. The skill stuff has been interesting. I haven't really watched much of it. I am interested to see what the flag football looks like. If I can remember, I'm going to watch that. I'm not going to go out of my way to, but it seems like it might be fun. Yeah, exactly. Come on, Malik. What you got? Run out of bounds. I mean, he's a nice prospect, but do you really want to draft a third first-round pass catcher like 3 years in a row? Because I'd rather not myself. Let's see. What is this now? Brian McFadden just told us that would love to come to Atlanta with the Atlanta Falcons. He is a free agent. As long as the price is right, my man, I'd take Patrick Peterson for a year or two. Says Ravens are going to tag him, but Lamar won't sign it until week 1 of the season. The Ravens want to hamstring their new OC. I mean, maybe the OC was part of the problem. Who knows? They seem to think so when they let Roman walk. It was a nice catch by Weil. That's a favored target of Ritter. 5 seconds. What y'all got? Oh, they're going to kick a field goal. All right. I didn't know if they're going to one more play or not. It's funny because we were saying all season or all practice that the American team was the stacked team. And here he is, the national team out 17-3. Halftime is here. So what y'all want to do? Y'all want to stick around for the second half of the game? Y'all want to keep going? Y'all got to let me know. Because I'll sit here with you if you want. Let's see. Oh, those people done lost their minds. They can look. That's my guy, right? Like I make no bones about it. I don't hide my bias, right? But no, that ship has sailed, man. He's done. Like he's done in Atlanta for sure. It may even be done. Like I don't see a team that could really like benefit from Matt Ryan. I hate to say it like that. Like he's my favorite, QB. But yeah, it's a it's a wrap to me. Let's see. I'm gonna try to write this down. KKRAMASS. No. No, bro. Nobody's showing up on my end on that one. So let's see. Chandler wants to keep going. All right, we'll keep going. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna step up, grab me a little snack real quick while we are at halftime. I suggest y'all do the same. Maybe fill up your drink. Does he still finish as a Hall of Famer? Yeah, I think so. Like, I don't think embarrassing ending, especially the way it happened with Indy. like firing their coach, and it seemed like the entire team just fell apart, not just him. Okay, so I think he does still finish as a Hall of Famer. Put up a lot of numbers, MVP of the league, went to a Super Bowl. So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure if I had to take a non-biased stab at it, yeah, I kind of agree. Julio might be done too. I wouldn't mind this part, like signs a day one contract and retires. I wouldn't mind that at all, for PR purposes. Free agent wide receiver and defensive draft. Okay. Free agent wide receiver and defensive guy, draft defense and O-line guys. Yeah, but you got to think whoever you're drafting is going to need time, right? A lot of these people don't come in and just hit the ground running really right away. All right. I'm going to mute myself and I'll be right back. Y'all don't go nowhere. Or do go get you a drink and a snack. I'll be right back. All right, and I'm back. I got snacks. Snacks. Oh, wrong one. Got a grape. You give up the 8th pick for T. Higgins? I don't know, dog. That's a high price there. I mean, T. Higgins is good. Not wrong one. Oh, you were asking a question. I don't think I would myself. What do you mean? Now, are you talking about like on-screen criticism, or you want to criticize me? What you want to do? Yeah, I think I'm with Chandler. Like, T. Higgins is nice, but I don't think I'd give up the 8th pick for him. I can do quite a bit with the 8th pick, in my opinion. Who do you think wins the MVP this year? I mean, it's probably going to be a QB. You think it's like Jalen Hurts, or you think it's Mahomes or Joe Burrow? Who do you think? Whoever I bet you the Phillies and the Eagles don't want it to be their guy. Because generally speaking, whoever wins the MVP does not win the Super Bowl. Just ask Matt Ryan. Hurts. It's not a bad choice. So, what's y'all's favorite storyline of the Super Bowl so far? Is it the Kelsey brothers or Reed coaching against his old team? Which one are y'all like? Oh yeah, that one's interesting. That's it. I wouldn't. Yeah, winning the MVP tends not to win a Super Bowl. Yeah, I agree with the aspect as a joke, but I think for the most part, a lot of these players don't want to get hurt, and so therefore they either opt out or definitely don't go hard enough. So I'm gonna be interested to see if this format gets engagement going with the players and with the fans. People seem to like the skills challenge stuff a little bit, so I'm interested to see how this flag football thing goes. Works itself out. All right, we're still in the highlight phase. That's a good question. Who would I want for the next 10 years? I'm going to have to say Mahomes. And the reason why I say Mahomes is because this year for sure clearly showed that he can elevate talent around him. Right now, Burrow looks great, but he also has Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd, along with Hayden Hurst to an extent, Joe Mixon to an extent, a really good defensive line. You see what I'm saying? Like Burrow's got a lot of talent around him, and that's what you want. You want a talented team. But look at the receiving core that Mahomes has. He has Juju Smith-Schuster, Valdez Scantling, Mecole Hardman, and some dude with the last name Wilson. And he's got Travis Kelce. Obviously, Travis Kelce is a big piece, but it's not the only, you know what I'm saying? Like, Mahomes, to me, is making more with less, and that's the guy. Because that's what Brady did for all those years. Yes, Brady had a top 10 defense every time they won a Super Bowl, and he played in an easy division. But he was taking guys like Edelman and Welker and Danny Amendola and whoever else and making them look like superstars. He had Gronk, and that helps out a ton. So, it's Mahomes for me, and this was a big part of it. They traded Tyree Wilson or Tyree, and like that offense got better, which is crazy. I really said to myself when that happened, I was like, all right, now we're really going to see. Because it really felt like that offense was predicated on speed and receivers being able to get downfield, Mahomes scrambling around until somebody come open and hitting them, right? This year, like Mahomes showed you that, he could play within structure and like distribute the ball and be a full, complete quarterback, along with being an alien who can scramble around and make every throw on the field with every ridiculous arm angle. So yeah, like Mahomes he's the measuring stick for the next 10 years, I would imagine. Easy. This is Ritter for the next 10 years. Hopefully. Me and Toby said at the beginning of this past offseason, if Ritter or Mariota is it, then that's a nothing but a boon for Atlanta. And obviously Mariota isn't it. Maybe Ritter is, and we'll see. Yeah, Pacheco. Yeah, that was a good 7th round pick. He gave them some good physicality to go along with that. Oh, dude, yeah, Carr was killing it. Talking about making jokes when he was asked about his hot throwing the ball in Vegas. He says, not that hot, probably why I'm going somewhere else. He even had on like an NFL hat, not even a Raiders hat. That was pretty pure gold. I thought that was great. Comedy, 100% of the fans ought to come to the stadium wearing paper bags over their heads in protest. Oh, you're talking about the Pro Bowl? Nah, it's just a good fun time. So, you're talking about you have high hopes for Ritter. I do too. I think he has a chance. My stance right now is that he just unfortunately hasn't done enough to, or hasn't been given enough of a chance to lock up QB1 without any question. That's going to be the interesting part is who do they bring in? That's who they bring in is going to tell you how they really feel about Ritter. If they bring in somebody like a Tyler Heineke or a Gardner Minshew as a backup, then I think that tells you a lot. If they bring in somebody like a Jacoby Brissett, that tells you maybe that, okay, we got faith in him, but just in case. If they bring in somebody like, I would say, a Baker Mayfield, I'm not advocating for Baker Mayfield, but if they bring in somebody like a Baker Mayfield or a Daniel Jones, if he gets open to the free market, or obviously make a trade for Lamar, that tells you all you need to know there. Or even a Derek Carr or a Ryan Tannehill. Because Carr has made it known he wants to still play, and I can't see Tannehill taking a backup role. So, not after he's had a handful of deep runs with Tennessee. I just don't see it happening. So, Chandler says, I like his leadership. Yeah, he's got pretty good leadership. From what we've seen, it's looked pretty good. Oh man. Well, there's been major reports that the Saints are interested in Carr. So who knows? It would not surprise me one bit if Carr ends up in the NFC South. Whether it's the Saints, Carolina, or Tampa Bay, all need a quarterback. Tony says Jacoby Brissett would be a great fit and great asset for Ritter. Brissett is a good team guy that can win games when needed. Yeah, he's your higher end backup, right? Now, as long as he sees himself as that, I just wonder how much he'll cost you. NFL, new NFL, you got 5 years to win a championship with a QB on a rookie deal. Build your defense, get a free agent skill player, and go get it. That's been what's happened. If the thing is, I think there's a stat out there that says if a QB head coach combination don't win in the first 2 to 3 years, it's the chances of them winning a Super Bowl is very slim. But I think that also lines up with the rookie contract type stuff. So it's definitely interesting. Let's see. I think given half a chance, like if they can get Rodgers, I think that's where the Jets go myself. That's an extra 2 to 3 interceptions for the defense next year. Oh, you're talking about if Carr. Yeah, if he comes to the NFC South. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. All right. Got to be getting close. Let's see. This is somewhat tough to do this by myself. I did the draft by myself one year, but that was like the commercials weren't nearly as long. A lot more activity. Anybody got any questions? Or any more questions? Ha! Thank you, Chris. Who has stood out to everyone in the first half? Durham Payne has stood out quite well. Jaden Reed has looked pretty good on the wide receiver side. The kid out of Jackson State, Aubrey, that linebacker, he's looked pretty good. And then Hull and Gray, running backs, have done well. Every season, this is, I think we make the playoffs next season with Ritter and a couple more pieces on defense. I think there's a real good chance that we make the playoffs. Buddy, this stuff, like, you ain't lying. This stuff works hand in hand. You get yourself a dominant secondary, and coverage sacks will start to pile up. And then you get yourself a dominant D line, and your secondary doesn't have to cover as long. It's a back and forth, and I think that's a thing that doesn't necessarily get talked about a lot. It's a good thing to have a dominant part because it definitely helps the rest of the defense. Because I hope Arnold takes a big leap this year, and Troy. I like them both, and one of those guys has to be a home run because we haven't hit too many defenders on the draft, maybe 3 in the last 10 years. Yeah, that's like Ebiketie is interesting. Like, well, how does he look with Nielsen? Same thing with Troy. Do they try to use Troy as, a little bit more of a Swiss Army knife kind of guy? It's going to be fun. Those two guys especially. Same thing with Malone. Like, what do they do with Malone now? If he's not a speed rusher or whatever, a speed to power guy, do they, play him at Sam linebacker? So it'd be interesting. Let's see. Mr. CDX says, I want to give Art and Terry 5 years to make us a winning team. A winning team means win the South 2 times and at least the NFC Championship at home. That'd be nice. That's like, I wonder how many years they're going to get, really. ATL getting pressure with 4 is a dream of mine. Yeah, it's a dream of yours and every DC out there. Getting pressure with 4 is the dream. James Williams says, I'm truly thinking we're going to get Lamar. I got this crazy feeling. We got it going all out to stabilize the QB position. I think if they take a big swing, it's Lamar. Like, I still see myself that we stick with Ritter for 23. But if we take a big swing, I think Lamar's the only one worth taking a big swing on. My thoughts on our staff. I like what the offense has done. 2 years in a row, they've adapted to the roster that they have, and that's an encouraging sign to me. Able to run the ball when everybody in the world knows you're going to run it is also an encouraging sign to me. I'll be interested to see what they do with what I'm considering to be their first real offseason. No cap restraints, full uh full access to like draft picks. So this year is going to show a real good idea what they want to do, what they're looking at doing. So I like it. I like the staff. I like what they've done. I'm really interested to see what Nielsen does, because that's a big and important aspect too. You know. So you thinking the same thing I'm thinking? Yeah, it's be interesting to see what they do with him. Oh yeah, no, I mean I agree. Like Lamar makes you a playoff team, but how deep do you go? Is it a first round and out? Is it a second round and out? Like Lamar makes you a playoff team, but like I said, how much more does he do for you? I think like a full off season in one position and a full NFL off season. I think Anderson comes back in head and shoulders better. All right, American League's got the ball back, 2nd and 7. Let's see. I still ain't seen. Oh, National League. There you go. That was a bad exchange for Doug. Like I told you, man, Duggan has looked rough. Duggan has absolutely looked rough. I think there's Henley, the linebacker, recovering it. But it's Phelps who like caused the fumble. Like one guy I haven't seen yet is I haven't seen Keon White and I haven't seen Will McDonald yet. Will McDonald was super fun to talk to at the Senior Bowl. Buddy, when I asked him about his anime t-shirt or his anime hoodie, he lit up, boy. Good job there, fellas. All right, Bulldog. Hayner, I think is his name. Well, quit dancing with him and tackle him. Number 4 out of Stanford. That's Wilson. I'm really liking what I'm seeing out of Wilson in the game itself. Oh, man. Oh, big body wide receiver too. That would go with what they were trying to do with Auden Tate and some of those other guys they were bringing in. Pull the trigger, dude. Well, at least you got away with it. Shoot, I'd imagine that 75% of all QBs take and fail. QB is the hardest thing to figure out. It's the hardest one to figure out if they're going to hit or not. Let's see. Sorry. Yeah. So that's why I say if you're gonna swing big, I'd swing big on Lamar because at least you know what he is in this league. You know what you can do, what he can do in this league. Another bonus with Lamar is that it'll bring guys people want to play because he's a guy that can win. Yeah, I mean that's the thought. Like I said, Hollywood Brown wanted out, but I don't think it was because of Lamar. I think it was because of Greg Roman and the scheme. So I think that if you were to get Lamar here, obviously people would be more excited to come play here because they would have an idea of what, like, that you were actually pushing the chips all in. So one thing I can confidently say, Ritter will be better than Zach Wilson. Yeah, I mean, Zach Wilson is an interesting test case. Like, here's a guy who was pretty much handed everything, told that he was the best, got picked overall, and then when finally hit some adversity and seems to not be able to mentally hold up. So, I don't know. I mean, everybody talks about Caleb Williams next year out of USC, but similar situation. Similar in the fact that he's had everything like done for him, like trainers and sports psychologists and all this other stuff for him to succeed. So how does he handle adversity? Murphy or Wilson sitting there at 8. Who you got and why? I would go with Miles Murphy. And why is because I have seen like the production on the field. I have seen him have a plan when he gets up there to pass rush. As to Wilson, seems to just rely on power, and that's it. Like, he will attempt to bull rush you and be done with it. So that's my biggest concern with Wilson. But, if we're just talking about, like, Wilson may have better traits, but Murphy has shown that he can do it at the college level. So I would lean more towards Murphy. See who we got here. Oh, snap. Oh, LSU. Ollie Gay. Nice. That was a nice sack by him. He had a good, like, it wasn't nothing flashing, but he had a good, who did he do that against? Oh, man. That's the kid out of Chattahoochee or Chattanooga. Let's see. Yeah, that was a good sack. Right now, for me, it's a toss-up between Gonzalez and Porter. Ooh, that's a long field goal. Nope. No good. Dude, D'Angelo Malone, all week, he was tough to guard, and he had a sack. Same thing with Ebiketie. That's what I'm saying, man. I think this group that we're watching here is a much better offensive lineman group. Some of these D-line are starting to pick it up some, but yeah, these offensive linemen, I think, are a lot better. James says, I keep hearing the salary cap hell, but if you can get that guy at the main position, if Matt Ryan is still playing like an MVP level, he would still be a Falcon. Same for Julio. The cap, the problem with Ryan's cap wasn't the number. It was just the way that Dimitrov kept pushing it down the field, pushing it down the. It's what you're seeing right now with New Orleans. They keep pushing it down the road, and they're eventually going to have to pay for it. I am surprised that Duggan is still in. Anyway, but if you do it right and you structure it right, you can make it work. Come on, Carter. See? That was Carter all week long. Just can't close it out. How does what tie into the bar? Let's see. Oh. So you're talking about, like, I mean, yeah, Lamar would put butts in seats. That's for sure. Everybody would love to see Lamar Jackson play. I want to see Keon White get in the game. I think a lot of people are afraid that if we sign Lamar, then we go back into salary cap hell. It's not just Lamar. It's like the question is, do you sign Lamar, and then in 3 or 4 years, what do you do with Pitts and London and AJ and Chris Lindstrom and all these other guys? Like, to be able to sign Lamar, you got to make sure your drafts hit. That was the big problem with Dimitrov, is not enough of his draft hit. Even with, like, you spent 2 first rounders on pass rushers, and neither one of them are in the league anymore. So you got to, like, if you're going, as soon as you say, okay, I'm going to lock this guy up as my quarterback, then you got to make sure you're drafting well. Chris Rodriguez. Nice run by Rodriguez. Chris, I don't think he is, honestly. Duggan. Is Duggan even draftable? I don't think so, honestly. Like, he's trying to show that he can be draftable, but you're going to be able to pick him up for a practice squad for sure. All right, Alec, can you get another one? Who was that? There's Pace making a tackle. Ivan Pace. Somebody was asking about him earlier. I mean, they may. If you're talking about Duggan, somebody might take a. But I don't know. I still think that you could pick him up off the undrafted. Oh, that was not good by the old lineman there. Got blown back. I do. I pay him. I think he's worth paying myself. Says, if I find a franchise QB, I do everything surrounding with talent and kick the can as far as I can, because the bill is going to have to be paid one way or the other. I agree. Like, I think the COVID year is what really messed up the cap space. They were betting on everything going up, and the COVID year went backwards. Let's see, anything popping off on Twitter? That was a good route. That 33, is that Merriweather? It's not showing 33 on here. Huh. Interesting. I think he was late. Oh, come on, Duggan. He was wide open, bro. All right. Come on, Duggan. One of my guys in here, Darnell Wright, number 58 right there. If you're going to replace McGarry, he may be one to do it with. Oh, you had him wide open. That's the kid from Princeton. He had an up and down week. People were comparing him to Christian Watson, and I just don't see it. But he had a good route there. Totally beat his guy. The kid from Stanford. Oh, that's Caillou Blue Kelly. What is this? All right. $33 is Bradley Moss out of Iowa. Why do you have a? Look like he had a daggone. Oh well, yeah, Hawkeyes. He's the one that we were joking about the whole time about being the fastest guy or the fastest track star in Iowa. But no, he was good. Yeah, he showed out pretty well. Ah, 1 second. Don't do that. Let me get a headphone in. Because if you start talking now, everybody's gonna like hear you double time. So give me a second. All right, talk to me.
Testing 1, 2. How you doing?
Good.
Good. Just dropping in.
Yeah.
I wanted to be here earlier, but I had some other things to take care of. But and unfortunately, I got home and I'm like, all right, I can jump on the stream. Let me pull up the Senior Bowl. Let me get that going in the background. And then it's like NFL Network. You need to upgrade. And I was like, you suck. So and then I checked till I was like, maybe this would be on like the NFL app, NFL Network, NFL app,
Right,
all that other stuff. I pull that up. It's like, nope, we're not even
Nope.
going to say one word about it there. I'm like, God, really?
Well, you can help me react to chat and as much as anything else is going on. So,
but yeah, I'll Chandler. I'll say that a lockdown corner, and while maybe he's not like the lockdowniest lockdown corner of the lockdown corners in this lockdown kind of league, he is a very, very, very good cornerback in this league. And if you, assuming he doesn't ask for something outrageous, super duper crazy, then absolutely I would love to keep AJ. I think he's a really good player. He had a rough start, but he came on like last 70 to 75% of the season and really like helped settle things down in that back end a little bit.
oh yeah, for sure. Tony says, what's up with you, Jonathan?
Man, I am doing great, Tony. Had to handle some father-in-law business, and that took longer than I thought it was going to take. But hey, I got some Wingstop wings out of the deal. So,
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's a nice little run there by Chase Brown out of Iowa. He had a pretty good, week of practice. It was well done. I'm still surprised we haven't seen more of like who was like Chase Brown. Cameron Peoples had that one drop, and or no, it was like 2 drops in a row, and then you ain't seen him since.
Is it Rasheed Rice? Is that his name?
That's the wide receiver. I haven't seen him on the field yet. He's on the American team.
Okay.
He's number 11. So, haven't seen him play yet. I haven't seen Keon White from Georgia Tech play yet. I haven't seen Will McDonald from Iowa State play yet.
I wonder if those guys did so, because I heard a lot about Will McDonald. I heard a lot about Rasheed Rice. I heard a lot about Keon White, which I'm going to say, like, I am down personally, because I saw the question from earlier. At number 8, even if Murphy and Wilson are there, if DeJuan Jones is there, I'm taking him. And, you know,
Nice.
and that's if like they decide to let McGarry walk, which
Well,
with some of the projections on what his salary is looking like, it doesn't necessarily look like that's going to be the case. But I would like to take in like right now, I would like to take DeJuan Jones for the right tackle spot potentially, and then Keon White in the second. That would be my two.
yeah, Keon White in a second is definitely an intriguing prospect, an intriguing aspect. And then the DeJuan Jones or even Bucky Brooks has us taking the tackle out of Northwestern, which I haven't watched yet. Peter
There.
like Sawinski or something like that.
Oh, Skoronsky.
Yeah, that's
Is
it.
it Skoronsky?
Mhm.
I wouldn't mind him, but like now if we did go edge in the first with either Murphy or Wilson, if they're there, um, then the guy I would like to if he makes it there, the guy I would like to pick up in the second round, and this is on the other end of the spectrum of you sign McGarry, you keep him in there. Then the next guy I'm probably wanting to pick up is it's Cody
Oh, dude, Cody
Mauch.
Mall. Like I'd take Cody Mall, in the second round all day long, just because for the entire week he's been lined up at left guard and looking good at it,
Yeah,
and has lined up at center. Like you give me Cody Mall, and in the second round, I'd be now you're cooking with fish grease.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, get basically take care of the last like remaining kind of sort of. I mean, there's another. I am not even going to attempt to pronounce his name, but there was a center that I had seen popping up as a really good center, and it wasn't Cody Maw. It was like Adewugie something or other. It
I
was
think that's
some
number
really long.
55 out of Michigan State. Hold on, I tell you. Yep, that's the
You
Michigan
take
State center.
you gonna take a
And
stab at that name?
God no, no sir, I am not trying to get canceled today. Uh,
Let's see.
I would just tell you that the Michigan State or the Michigan center looked good all week long.
Was he at Michigan?
Yeah, Michigan, the Wolverines, not Michigan State. But yeah, he looked good all week long. Cody Mall looked good. Darnell Wright looked good in practice. Only got beat a time or two. Like Tony's Wright's over here talking about give me the DT out of Baylor. Yes, sir. Like there's a
Was that
lot.
that Benton? Is
No,
that
no,
who that was?
that's the Sakai Kai out of Baylor.
Oh yes,
Now
absolutely.
Keanu Benton, like I take him in the like third round. If we went like pass rush, offensive lineman, then in like third round I'd take Benton. So let's see. Chandler says the Gary Nielsen hires Gary Gray and
Oh, sorry.
Nielsen hires alone. Should improve the defense. We'll see. Like, Dean Pease is not a bad defensive coordinator.
No,
He just I think there's an influx of talent should improve the defense.
like if Pease had decided to come back, I would be excited about the defense. If literally nothing changed on the coaching front, for the most part, I would still be excited going into 2023.
Yep.
Because of the talent, you give a guy like Dean Pease talent and guys that can actually run, that can execute properly on the defense. Then I would be totally fine with Dean Pease here as the defensive coordinator.
Yep.
Now that being said, am I excited for Ryan Nielsen and Jerry Gray?
Yep.
Absolutely. I think assuming that we get the correct influx of talent, and I think the free agency is the best way to get, and that really falls into the wheelhouse of Terry Fontenot, anyways,
Yep.
because he was always the pro player personnel guy. So be able to find the guys that we need on the pro side in free agency is a very good, uh, you know, it could be very, very good for us. And you do that, and then you know the way I would hope to have this work out would be you try to cover as many of the holes as you can in free agency. Obviously, you're not going to go out and spend the big bucks on guys every single position, even with the kind of cap we're going to have, which we should be able to do just about anything we want. But
Mhm.
you're still going to go with like top tier one, maybe two guys, then like mid tier two, three, four guys or something like that potentially. And that's probably where you're going to be at. And then from there, once you get into the draft, then it's like, okay, we've kind of got things covered. Now, all I care about is when it's my turn to pick, either I trade out of it, or if there's a guy we really, really, really like, you trade up.
Mhm.
But at that point, the draft then just becomes let's just, we've got this talent already on the team. Let's just add talent to the talent.
Yep.
It doesn't matter where what you add, as long as you're adding talent to that team and talent that fits what you're looking for to that team. Then I
BTA,
then
man.
at that point, I see a lot of people talking about there's no way in hell we should be taking a running back in
Yeah, we had that
at 8.
conversation earlier.
Yeah. There's just no way we should be taking a running back at 8. I'll say this. If the Falcons handle their business properly, and I've preached this basically since the first time I was on the show, if the Falcons handle free agency properly, then you go into the draft completely free to just literally look at, okay, where are we picking at? We're picking here. Right now, of the available players, who is the absolute best talent we can possibly pick?
Yep.
In our minds. And if you are able to do that every single round and get the most talented
Unlocked
people
up.
that are available, then you're going to be good. We lose you, Jay? You still there? I might have lost Jay. Let's see. John Michael Schmitz. That's a guy. That's definitely a guy I've seen, but that wasn't the guy I was thinking of earlier. Uh, the guy I was thinking of earlier is Oluwatimi. The name I saw it as, this first part was way, way longer.
You
I
there?
can hear you. Yes, sir.
Like my internet just like died for a second. I don't know what the hell.
You hit a dead spot, sir.
I guess driving down the road, I hit a dead spot. I'm guessing we're still alive.
I believe so.
I guess because you jumped in.
Yep.
Well, that's good. That's good. All right, good deal. I don't know what God's name happened. Like I'm sitting around everything. Like I've been streaming now for 2.5 hours, and all of a sudden just look down. I'm like, it's like, nope, you don't have no internet. I'm like, you mother.
Are you wired in?
I'll say I wasn't, and now it's like that doesn't normally happen to me, and because normally I'll wire myself in.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see.
Well, so I put this up. I don't know if you saw it or not. This was the guy I was talking about. Somebody else brought up John Schmidt.
Yeah.
But this was the guy Oluwatimi.
Yeah. How about that? How about that?
But he's the guy I've seen pop up on Twitter as people like, this guy looks good.
Oh yeah. He looked good in practice. Like he was the most, like him and Schmidt were the most centers out there, if that makes any sense. Like they were the best. Tony says also like Jose Ramirez. I don't know about in the third, but maybe the fourth. We got 2 fourth-round picks. Dante Stills both looked really good, and they were both on the side of the Falcons. that the Falcons coaching staff was on. So they got a real good look at those guys.
Yeah, I definitely saw Dante Still's name pop up in conversation.
So yeah, Dante Stills is a guy who like really has caught my eye quite a bit.
Chandler, where do we see Jimmy G playing next season?
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm gonna go ahead and call it the NFC South. Because I mean they were asking about Carr earlier. Wouldn't surprise me one bit if Carr lands with Frank Reich, if Jimmy Garoppolo lands in Tampa. Like these are teams that they're floundering at QB right now. Same thing with the Saints. Like they pretty much have made it known that they're not really going to go into next year with Dalton and Winston. So they're going to be looking.
I hadn't heard that part yet.
Well, okay. When I say that, they're heavily rumored to be one of the teams looking into Carr.
Okay.
So, well, the American team's doing some moving now. That's good. Mallory, the tight end out of Miami, with a nice catch. They got the Colorado QB in now, Badgett, I think is his name, or Baggett.
Okay.
And he was one of the more steadier QBs of the week. Let's see. Tyson Bagnett or Baggett, maybe.
Yeah, as far as Jimmy G, I could see him in Carolina. I know that the prevailing wisdom is the cap is a myth. I've seen
it is to an extent.
Yes, I have seen the Saints do crazy stuff like with a few years back now, but at the time he was like the most highly coveted safety, something Bird. I can't remember his first name.
Jairus Bird.
Yeah, it might have been. Yeah. Either way, he was the guy. He was the guy everybody wanted, and he like everybody was thinking like the Saints have no shot because they were something like I don't know 10 million under over the cap and yada yada yada, and they still figured out some way to do it basically by like, hey, this year we're gonna pay you like $1 million.
Yeah, right. You're right. This year we're gonna pay you next to nothing, and then kick it down the road. I mean, yeah, like I said, if there's somebody they want.
But Derek Carr, like the trade by itself, like the cap hit that comes with the trade is stupidly high.
Yep.
So I mean, I'm not gonna say they can't do like a trade and sign and trade or trade him and then immediately sign him and do all kinds. They could do all kinds of weird magic stuff. My question would be: was he in Las Vegas? It wasn't Las Vegas at the time. Was he in Las Vegas with Dennis Allen?
I don't know. No, that was long. He was after Dennis Allen.
Okay.
Yeah, he showed up after Dennis Allen.
I wasn't sure if he was there with or after Dennis Allen, because if he was with Dennis Allen, he may not like to come back and work with Dennis Allen again.
Almost had a pick there. The Cal corner on the national team. Can't see his number. What number is he? He just couldn't get his feet down. 32.
Quad 7 here. Rumors of Jimmy G I've heard rumors of Jimmy G to the Falcons. I've heard rumors of Aaron Rodgers to the Falcons.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard rumors of all kinds of guys. So rather have Daniel Jones. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, so far he's had one successful season as a starter. And it wasn't like he personally lit the world on fire. Now he made plays, but Daniel Jones could be a guy that could be a guy in the NFL. We don't know yet. Give him a little bit more time. But I
that's
will
gonna
agree.
that's gonna be tough. Somebody says we don't need Carr. Isaiah Crime says that we don't need Carr. His birthday is 3/28.
Yep, strike him off the list.
Yep, don't need that juju here.
Nope.
Don't need that juju here.
And like I said, I think we've talked about this before. As far as Carr in the Falcons, I don't see Carr as a Arthur Smith type QB person.
No.
I just don't see him. Ritter is more mobile, and can do some of the things that he wants to be able to do with the read option and things like that. While he won't do it quite as much as when he had Mariota, I think he still wants to be able to do it. And Ritter gives him that opportunity. Whereas Carr,
I agree.
That, so.
I agree. I do definitely think that Ritter is more that Arthur Smith style QB. Well, we're rolling into the fourth quarter. We got one more quarter to go, folks, and that will put a nice bow on this whole Senior Bowl week. And then, like I was telling the folks, Jonathan, thinking Tuesday we'll do our first community mock draft.
Okay.
Probably spend the second half of the show doing a mock draft.
I'm down with that.
So
just make we just I'd love to put that together, and then we can post that out there and just be like, hey, this is what this is the mock our community came up with. And that way, if everybody hates it, we can blame y'all.
Right, it ain't my fault.
It ain't our fault.
I'll definitely put that together. I'll definitely put that out on whatever we come up with. We'll put it out on Twitter and I'll post it to the community page on YouTube.
Yep.
So, faux show. Dude. All right, so check it. Not definitely not super name dropping, nothing like that, right?
Okay.
But part of the cool experience of going down to Mobile is all the people that you get to see, right? I was probably a few feet away from Wink Martindale.
Ooh, nice.
Who was there, checking out people for the Giants. I was sitting a couple rows in front of a couple Falcon scouts. Obviously did not talk to them, but that was cool.
Yes.
And then shook hands with DJ Shockley.
Ooh.
So that was kind of cool. Inadvertently sat right next to him. Legitimately inadvertently. Me and Aaron Freeman of the Locked On Falcons.
Yep.
We're moving over to the end of the end zone to get a better view of D-line, O-line drills. And I go to sit down, trying to be spatially aware, making sure I ain't sitting too close to somebody. And I look over, and it's legitimately DJ Shockley on the same row. And I was like, nice. "Oh, Shockley, what's going on?" I asked him one question, and not necessarily anything that I wouldn't ask a normal person.
Right.
Just asking him, "Hey, have you seen any of the Falcons upper brass here?" And he said, "No." He said he hadn't seen any of them. And I said, "Cool." And I left the man alone after that because I ain't trying to bug nobody. But then we went to a bar, a local place called Veets that all the folks hang out at, and I was probably the length of my bedroom from Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero.
Big leagues, man.
And I was like, that's pretty slick. Everybody's like, "Oh, you should go talk to him." I'm like, absolutely not.
Yeah, walking to hey, Rap Sheet, how's it going?
Yes, yeah. What's up there, Ian? How you doing?
Hey, next time, tell Pat I said hey.
That's right. But no, it was that's part of fun. I got to spent a good bit of time talking with Aaron Freeman and Kevin Knight from the Falcoholic. Pick six. What? I didn't see no pick six. It ain't happened yet. I might be a little delayed. I am on YouTube.
Chat spoiling it for you.
That's right. I have to see. I guess so. Yeah, I got a little delayed.
Yeah, the Arthur Smith. You're saying you can't see Arthur Smith going with Ritter because if he busts, then year after Arthur knows that seat's going to be like lava. Here's what I will say: if the quarterback, if Ritter busts, which I don't think he is, do I think he's am I expecting him to be like the best QB in the league next year? No. But I don't think he's a bust. If he was a bust, I think we would have at least seen something, even in the first 4 games. Because how many times have we seen a guy that everybody thought was whatever, or they're like, I don't know about this guy, and then he comes in and does like a Nathan Peterman, and throws 2-3 picks in that in the first game, or maybe he comes in as relief in one game, and then when he becomes the starter the next week, it just falls apart. Like, right. So we didn't see that with Ritter. We saw progress each game. He got better. And so Arthur is. I don't think Arthur, unless it really, really falls apart, I don't think we have to worry about a hot seat for him for at least 2 more years.
Yeah, I don't like. I know that there is a contingent of fans who just absolutely, no matter what, don't like Ritter. Get it? Totally get it.
Yeah.
And there's a contingent of fans who haven't been through 2 years, haven't been impressed with Arthur. Again, I get it. I don't agree, but I get it. So, but I don't think that unless they go out and spend a ton of money, vastly upgrade the team talent-wise, and then everything falls apart, I do not see Arthur Smith being on the hot seat for the next year or 2, at least. Because everybody involved knows what they were dealing with.
Yep.
Like, straight up and down. There's that you're dealing with, cap space hell. You know that you are dealing with a quarterback at the end of his career, a wide receiver at the end of his career, like franchise guys who aren't going to be here moving forward. Like, these are things that are tough to overcome. Yep. And with that being said, you can blame Tampa all you want to, but up until like 2 weeks before the end of the season, you were still in the mix of the NFC South. You can blame the other teams being bad all you want to. That's just the truth of the situation. Yep. And so I'm pretty sure they feel like you increase some talent and you're going to be right in the thick of it, like legitimately right in the thick of it. I've said it before.
We're the kind of this year, while not complete opposite, we were kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum as the Vikings. The Vikings had how many 1-score games that they were undefeated in every single one of them, and like every team every season is going to play a lot of 1-score games. They had a whole lot. We had even more, but there's no way they can keep that up. They will regress to the mean, which means next year they're going to be in a lot of 1-score games again, but they're probably not going to go undefeated in them. And so they're not going to have nearly as good a record. On the flip side, we were in a lot of 1-score games with a severely depleted roster. Ended up with the same record as the year before. And the year before, we had a better roster. And so, and exactly what Chandler said, like what Arthur Smith did this past season with, exactly what we did this past season with, what was it? $80 million all told in dead money and IR money and all that jazz. So much money that had been paid that was not on the field. Getting to 7-10 was as good
pretty
as
impressive.
Was as good as you could possibly hope for, considering every single analyst out there at best gave us 4 wins.
I mean,
most out there like 2-3 wins. So
like it ain't all like sunshine and rainbows. Like
no.
I wish that there some other decisions would have been made sooner. like after the second Carolina game, I think had you started Ritter then, these discussions would be a lot different because I think you would have a much bigger sample size.
Mm-hmm.
Like you didn't get like a touchdown of Ritter until what, the third game or
It
the last
was
game?
it was the last game.
The last game. So the game plan by design, was to, protect Ritter in a sense because he was a rookie and all this other jazz. But I wish you would have seen more of him so that the fan base could feel a little bit better or worse, depending.
Yep.
Unfortunately, like he wasn't really asked to do a ton. And what he was asked to do, he was able to do. He didn't turn the ball over. He had some turnover worthy throws in New Orleans. But like I said, we got better and better each week. His
And
rapport with Drake London grew.
yep.
And like rapport with the other receivers grew. So I don't know. But like I said, I completely get and understand why people are like, he ain't the guy because he's a third round pick. And how often has that really worked out? Not very often.
No.
But I try to remind everybody that a lot of QBs don't work out. And
how many times has a number one overall selection QB
not work out?
Been the guy?
Right.
Like so far in my whole life, maybe a Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man, that was a good route. That Wilson kid out of Stanford, Michael Wilson, he's definitely a guy that if they want to go receiver in second or third round, he keeps impressing.
Yeah.
Sorry, I wasn't trying to cut you off. It's just
no, you're fine. Like I'm looking forward to like I'm not able to watch the game, but the stuff that I saw and the things that I read on Twitter regarding some of the wide receivers out there, specifically Rasheed Rice, A.T. Perry, those guys. That makes me excited. I don't think. I mean, for all I know, we could still go with Quentin Johnston in the first. I don't think we're going to go that route.
It's hard for me to see us drafting a pass catcher number one overall third year in a row.
Yeah, but again, if we go true BPA and they believe he's the best player available at that spot,
that was the argument that I was making for Bijan. Like, not that I want Bijan, but if they truly see him as, best player available, and they've done their due diligence, so to speak, in free agency, like buckle up, Buttercup.
Yep. Like I said, I will say this. This is the first time personally that I can think of that I saw this somebody, where they had talked to Fontenot after like during the Senior Bowl, I think, or maybe it was during the the East West Shrine game or the practices. They talked to him and they said they were talking to Ryan Nielsen. They were talking to this, that, and the other because they were really looking at the trenches because the games are won or lost in the trenches. Like that's like one of the very first. Like we've heard, we just need to get more talent. We need to get this. We need to get that. We've heard that throughout the years. I don't think I've ever heard, whether it's a GM, a coach, anybody from the Falcons has literally made that statement.
Right.
That statement of
like
we need to get better in the trenches.
You had, Arthur Smith like call it out at their end of the year press conference talking about like we have to get better on the D line. Now you have like Fontenot saying games are won and lost in the trenches. I think that might have been part of the reason why, Pease decided to step away. Because like his philosophy has been more back front.
Yeah.
Coverage is creating havoc and sacks and stuff like that. So it's going to be really interesting to see what Nielsen does.
Yeah.
There's an interesting comment.
I just want to pass. I want to pass rush. So
yeah. History will prove people wrong, as it so often does, as quarterbacks, Kenny Pickett and Desmond Ridder will be the only two quarterbacks will have successful have success from the 2022 draft. I mean, that's possible. There wasn't what you have Willis, Corral, and Howell taken, along with Pickett and Pickett being the only first rounder.
I liked Corral.
I thought Corral was okay.
What I watched of him.
My biggest problem with Corral is like he was one read and go.
Yeah,
like
lots of college quarterbacks are that though.
Right, and that's what I liked about Ritter. Is like you could tell by Ritter's tape that he was actually reading defenses.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah, if you can get guys that are in college already actually reading defenses and not just like that maybe is one of the problems sometimes with guys that are at some of the real big programs. You got guys that are with Alabama and Georgia and those kinds of teams where their talent, especially the skill position talent, is so much greater that they don't necessarily always have to go to second or third or fourth options.
mm-hmm.
A lot of times it's I can go to my first option 90% of the time, and every now and then you got to do something past that.
Yep.
Whereas somebody like Ritter, who was not at a big Power 5, or a powerhouse program,
Yeah, right.
So didn't quite have the same talent on the outside.
That's it. Cameron Peoples finally had a nice little run, bouncing off tackles. Nice. Unfortunately, put Chris Smith in the ground for the Georgia homers out there. Like he ran him over.
Got to happen to somebody.
It says it's got to happen to somebody.
It does. Yeah. Like I would love, like I said.
There you go, Isaiah Land. The FAU, the HBCU defensive end, edge rusher, just got himself a sack.
Nice.
There you go. Not bad at all, my friend. Not bad at all.
Man, just try to show out as much as you can.
Heck, on this you do.
Yeah.
On this, you very much do try to show out as much as you can.
But yeah, I do think I'm with Tony on, like, if there's going to be two quarterbacks that do have success going forward out of this latest draft, I do think it's going to be Pickett or Ritter. I don't see, like, nothing I saw out of Malik Willis this past year. I didn't even see a flash.
No, I mean,
and really that's all I really wanted from Ritter was, like, I understand you're gonna make mistakes, you're gonna throw interceptions. He didn't. He threw something that could have been, but really only in that first game. There really wasn't that many that could have been intercepted in the later games. Once he got past the first
he played pretty good against Baltimore. Played much better against the Cardinals, and then played his best game against Tampa Bay.
Yep.
And you can say all you want to, he played against the backups. I went and looked at snap counts just to see if that narrative was true or not. And, he played a good amount against their starters, especially their secondary starters. So, I don't know about that.
Well, the Falcons?
Yeah, he's like, we could beat nearly any team, in my opinion.
I mean,
not yet.
Could we? Sure. I think it would have taken an A game on our part and probably like a C or D game from like Kansas City or somebody like that.
Right. So he says, Fred Buss says, Joe from the Bengals is overrated. He doesn't have Chase. He struggles. Well, that was something we were talking about earlier. Somebody asked me who would I'd rather have for the next 10 years, Joe Burrow or Pat Mahomes. And I was like, my initial answer is Pat Mahomes because he did so much more with so much less. And, you're talking about Juju Smith-Schuster and Marquez Valdez-Scantling. And now he's got Travis Kelce. And that helps a lot.
Yeah.
But he had better offensive numbers with less wide receiver talent.
But I'll say this. I'll say this about Mahomes and this. I grant I'm not necessarily saying that's the wrong answer. You take either one of these guys, and you're going to be set for the next decade.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
either one. However, what I will say about Mahomes is, yes, he was able to do it with less, but it wasn't like he was able to do it with less in his first year. Like he was, in his first or second, third year. It was fifth year where he's been in the league.
Yeah.
Gotten he's
Mm-hmm.
gotten reps. He's matured as a NFL
He knows
quarterback.
the offense like in and out.
Right. So
I completely agree.
once you're at that spot, then yeah, it makes things a little bit easier to help, when you don't necessarily always have that talent that you had before.
Yep.
Uh,
Chris
but
says Ritter retired Brady, and you can't change my mind. Dang right.
absolutely.
Last regular season loss came to the Falcons. What's up?
I said it day he retired. I tweeted it out. It's like Ritter put that man out of the league. Brady saw the future, was like, "Nah, I'm good."
Yep. Linebacker from Illinois just laid a major hit. It was on the national team. Let's see.
Oh, okay. I see Chandler. Yeah. So he was like, "Could we beat nearly any team?" He was like, "We stayed in every game this year."
Yeah, I mean, we stayed we only got boat raced in one game.
Yeah, he's like, "We
And
stayed
was,
in every game minus the Bengals game." And that was where they depleted roster. So when we add the key pieces we need, we could beat nearly any team. IMO.
Right.
So absolutely.
Now that I agree with. So he's actually a safety about Illinois, right? That was so I was trying to look up. I thought he was a safety. Sidney Brown. Yeah. Good job. Appreciate you picking me up there. I was trying to find it on my sheet. Yeah, Sidney Brown was one of the ones that had a real good week of practice from that safety position. So we got less than 5 minutes. I'm gonna have to get back to the game clock and see what where we're at, and then when this game is over with, I have to go cook dinner. So, we got about 4 minutes and some change left in this game clock time. So probably maybe another 15 minutes or so. So if y'all got any more, I've still have not seen Keon White, and that, like you said, I wonder if it's like we saw enough, in practice.
I was actually going to say something about that earlier. Yeah,
it could be a deal where his agent was like, "Okay, look, dude, you've done enough. Yep. You don't need to risk. You don't need to show anymore. You've been impressive, and let it ride." Because
that's probably like agents talking to various teams and just getting feelers out on that.
Yep. Let's see. He says, "I reiterate, 100% of the fans going to tomorrow's Pro Bowl game should show up at the game, and then when they get their seats put on paper bags." I don't know.
It's not even a game anymore, is it?
Yeah, it's flag football now.
Yeah,
it's a skills competition in flag football. But like I said, nobody cared about the Pro Bowl anyway.
Yeah, no.
Nobody's ever cared about the Pro Bowl, and so why not at least make it fun for the people who are participating in it?
I mean, personally, they just have it. They have it at the wrong time.
Oh yeah,
do it like 2 or 3 weeks after the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to have an actual game, then do it 2 or 3 weeks after the Super Bowl. That gives the guys who played in and won and or lost in the Super Bowl a chance to recuperate. And if they still choose not to, then that's fine. But then that gives them time to rest up for that. There's no reason why it has to happen the week.
But also, in this day and age, with the way players view things, it's a meaningless game, just like preseason. And these guys do not want to take a chance in getting hurt in games that they're not necessarily getting paid for, and jeopardize their free agency or whatever it is. So with that being said, take it for what it is. It's a chance for you to get to see your players, interacting with other players that they don't normally get to play with. Like, to me, honestly, they should just do away with the whole festivities. To me, like, it should just be like the MVP. It's an award. Give him an award of being a Pro Bowler, and move on. And like that saves a lot. But you can laugh all you want to, but I bet you if you were to find the ratings, that the Pro Bowl will probably have more viewers than most like low level college sports have or whatever. Like, I'd say like a regular season non important college basketball game.
Yep.
So
It might even have better ratings than some playoff games in the NBA.
that's why I'm like, they're gonna keep doing it because people watch it and it make money. All right, come on. That's a duck. But good job, Wilson. Nice. Wilson come back for it. Michael Wilson come back for it and got a touchdown.
Nice.
So he's making himself some money. He's making himself some money this week. I know, Chris was talking about Christian Gonzalez locked him down. Yeah, Christian Gonzalez, who's a first overall or a first round talent, locked him down, sure. But Michael Wilson has made himself some money here in Mobile. Like, he's going to be a round 2 pick, I would imagine. And this is not a very deep wide receiver class, so he could find himself sneaking into the first round if a team really wants it. Like, he's done himself a major service. So, anyway. Chris says he enjoyed the beer at the Pro Bowl. Exactly. Enjoy a beer, watch it, or for the most part, don't watch it.
I'm glad they brought the skills challenge stuff. Like I love the precision passing stuff that they've done. I think that's a really good option for stuff like that. And then if you were going to do stuff like that, then maybe you do a thing where, because everybody's complaining about 17 games in a season, maybe you take a 2-week break, like literally give the entire league a break right in the middle of the season. And that's when you have the skills challenge stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of like doing I think NBA and MLB, their all-star games are in the middle of the season. Yep. So, yeah, take a page out of that book. Come about week 8, week 9, and, put a 2-week break in the middle of it and, do your all-star week.
No, Nick. No.
Yeah, you can keep Jimmy G away from my Falcons. I am good.
Yep.
I am good.
I like Garoppolo to me is a personally, I think he is a product of Shanahan.
Oh yeah. Like, if I see him actually going anywhere, I could see him going to the Raiders and reuniting with Josh McDaniels. And being like a bridge guy for a couple years. Ooh, sack. Who got a sack? Well, the guy out of, let's see, national team number 8, Central Michigan, Thomas Nkoum. He flashed a couple times during practice.
Nice. I would not be mad at Gonzalez at 8, by the way, Chandler.
No, heck no. That'd be fun.
Again, it all depends on like what they do in free. Like, as far as like draft stuff goes, there are guys that I would like to have, but it also really depends on what we do in free agency.
Yeah, I don't look at just the draft. You got to look at the draft and free agency is how you build your team. Yep. So, years ago they put it to where the draft came afterwards. The draft came afterwards. Let's see. Go ahead, John. Anyway, so yeah, the draft came afterwards, and they did that for a reason. So now it's how you build your team, right? You build your team by signing free agents and drafting. You can't just look at just one. You have to be able to do both, and you have to be able to do both willingly, or not willingly, well, to sustain success. That was Dimitrov's problem. Is he wasn't very good at the pro personnel. A lot of those guys he signed were bad decisions, and same thing with draft picks. And inevitably, what took him out of this league and what has had him not back in the league since. He didn't draft well and didn't sign well in free agents. So, there you go.
Yep, I'm back.
10-4. On a situation like this, like a big long show like this, if you need to step away, just drop yourself off. You might want to unmute yourself. There you go.
No, I did.
But yeah,
I was cracking this open.
I got you. Cracking open a tall boy.
Yep.
This is a family show, sir.
It's a tall
monster.
I
think finally got some pressure.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, Keanu Benton.
Has he been playing and he hasn't been getting pressure, or he got pressure because he just started playing?
He was in. He just hadn't really gotten any pressure, but he finally got in. Chandler's been on that Patrick Peterson. Like, I still believe Pat Peterson on a 1-year deal would be great. It's gonna be like, it depends on what you do with Casey Hayward, right? You let go, you cut Casey Hayward. Do you want that veteran presence? It's just be really interesting to see what Gray has to offer and what he wants to do.
Well, so you brought in Hayward this year because you wanted a veteran presence to help with AJ. Now AJ's had a year with Hayward because even with the injuries, he's probably still in the room, still talking, still all that stuff. You had Alford, you had all the guys that have gone through the year now. Darren Hall, they've now had a year's worth of experience. Does AJ now kind of become that veteran presence?
Right.
He's been in the league a few years. He was super duper hot last year. Was really good the whole year. And then this year he came out and kind of struggled a little bit to start. And I'm not even going to say struggled. It's not like he was getting burned, like completely burned every single day or every single game. But he came out and gave us some touchdowns. Most of the time it was on just absolutely perfect passes, perfect catches, and he was in really good position. It's just sometimes it happens, right? You do everything you can, you just get beat. And so it wasn't like he was just playing awful, but he's had that, that scenario of, I'm coming off my best year, I'm on the ascension, and then kind of has like a come to Jesus moment early in the season, like what happened, and then but you saw him bounce back from that. And so does he now become the veteran presence along with Alford and all those guys who've now had that year?
Well, it also can come down to like, what are we going to try to run? Like Hayward is a almost strictly zone guy. Mm-hmm. And if they want to run more man to man, AJ can do that. Like Hayward, maybe not so much. So do they try to find a more of a man to man corner? Like, so it just all depends.
Yeah. And Peterson would be that. I think Byron Murphy's Byron Murphy.
Jaden says Benton is a monster, but will impact more in the run game. Yeah, he's definitely, but he's shown his ability to get into the backfield, especially during practice. Yeah.
Only thing I really absolutely must have from any kind of a defensive tackle is in the run game. Make sure you're occupying your blockers.
Yep.
Don't get completely washed. I mean, it's going to happen from time to time, but try not to have it happen too often. And then in pass rush, I don't necessarily need you to get to the quarterback. I need you to push that pocket so that the quarterback can't step up, and then let the guys on the edge feast. That's what I want to see.
Yep. Now, We are under 2 minutes now, and
2-minute warning, folks.
Yep. Well, they're just coming back from the 2-minute warning. So we are about to wrap this thing up. The American team is driving again. It's really shocking. Like, because in practice, the American team looked like head and shoulders above the national team. Like, talent wise, they were stacked. But the national team put it on them 27-10 as of right now.
Which one was London the coach of?
The American team.
Hey.
Yeah, I know, right? That's why I was like, oh, of course.
Hey.
So the East team lost in the Shrine Bowl, and now London can't score no points. These guys can't score nothing.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, the only touchdown they've had is a pick six.
Well, good thing he's just the QB coach then.
Rockyon Sin is a good man corner. He's the guy that we could keep an eye on. Great live stream, fellas. Well, appreciate y'all being here. Really,
appreciate it, Tony.
Yeah, like I said, it's kind of impromptu since I didn't stay for the actual game. I figured this was, kind of the next best thing.
Absolutely. What will we give up for Payne? Well, we wouldn't have to get if he gets the free agency. We don't have to give up anything, just money.
This arm, maybe. That pinky for sure.
That arm.
That pinky for sure. Well, that pinky.
There you go.
This one don't do nothing for me.
Exactly. I'll get both our left pinkies together will be just enough.
And we will get Deron Payne.
Yep. See you, Tony.
Yep. Take it easy. We're first and goal, 51 seconds left. Charles London is trying to at least get a garbage time touchdown.
What's the score? I have no idea.
27-10.
Ow.
Yeah.
Who was the quarterbacks on the national?
Let's see. Hold on. It was a great show today. Keep an eye out for the DTs for us, Daryl. I will. I'll definitely. You had the kid out of Colorado, Bagnett, and then Fresno State's quarterback and Houston's quarterback and Malik Cunningham. So that was the four that we saw today. Come on.
I know Duggan was on the American.
Yeah, Duggan. Yeah, and Duggan did not look good. Did not look good. Oh, man.
Stetson, maybe Stetson wanted to play, but he couldn't play because he was in jail.
No, he opted not to play.
I know. I honestly don't think Stetson expects to play in the NFL. I think he's, if his football career is done, like dude could literally live rent free.
In Athens, yeah.
And just find a place in Athens. They would probably give you a house, pay all your bills.
That's ball game. He just threw another pick. Jason says, I haven't been watching, but the lack of points on the American team, is that on coaching or the players? I'm going to say the players, honestly. Like these all-star games tend to be tough as far as like point scoring. You could go back and look. It tends to be a low-scoring game. But I'll say this, the Americans' QB play hasn't been great. And that hurts. Like Bagnett just threw a pick. So, Jay Black says, Stetson has made it. Look how GA alum took care of Herschel. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's a joke right now that like this time or like 2 days after the draft, Stetson will be like VP of marketing for David Green's insurance firm. And like he'll spend the rest of his career, or the rest of his life playing golf for a marketing firm. Making sales pitches and showing off his 2 national rings.
Yep.
Around Athens. And great for him,
Yep.
All right. So Chandler says, good show today, guys. Got to head out. See y'all next stream. Yep. We'll be live again next Tuesday. But yeah, let's go ahead and wrap this thing up. Let's switch out the banner. Get that going. We appreciate all y'all who stuck with me. It's kind of like a little impromptu thing. I didn't figure we'd get a huge crowd with it being the Senior Bowl, but we had fun. We had a good talk, good conversation. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Grimm1128, GRIMM1128. Jonathan?
At Jonathan M. Holder.
And as always, keep your eye on the channel. We'll be back live again on Tuesday. Like I said, we're going to do our first community mock draft. And then, just keep your eye out, because now we're going to get into like really profiling these guys and how they can fit with us, and taking everything that we've seen and learned from the Shrine Game and the Senior Bowl and start compiling who we really think that the Falcons should go after. Thanks again, folks. And as always, rise up.
Rise up.